got their first win and hung on in the fourth for the first time this season in primetime. Skip would have been perfect with his prediction if the Giants didn't get a safety, taking down Washington 32-21. Eli Manning had a QBR of 92 last night. Ruben Randall and ODB both had a touchdown. So the win puts the Giants a game and a half behind the first-place Cowboys in the NFC East. Herm is still here with us. After seeing last night's matchup, how big of a threat are the Giants in the NFC East?
Everyone's a threat in this division right now when you look at it. What has happened? You think about the Dallas Cowboys. When you lose Tony Romo, 34 touchdowns. When you lose Dez, as well as Murray goes to Philadelphia, that's 29 touchdowns. So the Dallas Cowboys, the way they play now, is dramatically going to change. It's going to change with their offensive line. That's the strength of that offense. Their defense is playing fairly well. They haven't played a whole bunch of high-powered offenses yet, but they're going to have to live that way. When you think about Washington, they got out of their game plan last night, and it was the Giants that got them out of their game plan by going up, not allowing them to run the ball, about 37 attempts, clock management, quarterback doesn't turn it over. When he starts throwing it 30, 40 times, he's going to turn it over. Their defense can hang in there. When you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, we don't know who they are right now. This is going to be a big test for the Eagles, in my opinion, how they go in this game. And then you think about the Giants, they're, what, 5 plays away maybe from being undefeated.
Yeah.
So I think this division, like last year when you watched it unfold, the Giants started off bad last year. But December, to me, is going to determine who's going to win this division. The Giants went 3-1. The Eagles went 1-3. The Cowboys went 4-0. And Washington went through what they went through with the quarterback and all that. They went 1-3. So I think we're not going to know anything. We can talk about we think we know who's going to win this division. We have no idea.
Okay.
In December, we will find out.
Okay, just go on your gut right now. If you had to pick somebody now, and I know it's early and you reserve the right to change, but what is your gut tell?
I don't have enough information. I don't have enough information. I really don't. After week 4, I'll have more information. When I see this, when I see the first 4 games of the season get played, then you have a better idea who you are. I think Dallas will still be competitive as long as Whedon is not forced to try to win games. See, the problem with Whedon is this. He's got a strong arm and all that good stuff. He can't extend any plays. It has to be drawn up. He's got to throw it. If the guy's open, he'll hit him. If not, he can't extend plays like Tony Romo. Okay, that's the problem with him. And the production. Well, where are you going to get the production from? I mean, you've got Dez Bryant, as I said, and Murray. That's 29 touchdowns. That's no longer in the building right now. So that's the problem. With the Eagles, we don't know who they are right now. We know that this game, and Skip made perfectly clear, this could be the game where Sam Bradford is no longer the starting quarterback. Because if he struggles, if you're Chip, and it's not your offense, guess what? Okay, you can't change players. The only player you can basically change is a quarterback. You might have to change quarterbacks. It's going to be interesting. Big game.
Stephen A., what do you think after seeing last night?
Well, listen, I mean, after seeing last night, obviously you have to throw the Giants up into the equation. But the reality is that Coach is absolutely right. You don't know what the hell is going on in the NFC East. The only reason Skip is resolute about his Cowboys is because he believes in them so much, because he loves them even that much more. But the reality is that nobody expected the Eagles to have the problems that they have, number one. Number two, you look at the Redskins. Up until last night, you were looking at their play at the line of scrimmage, the way they were able to run the ball effectively, and it just seemed like they were going to be relevant. When you look at the New York Giants, even though people pretty much almost everybody relatively dismissed them because we just said they have a lethal offensive attack, but you wondered about the offensive line's ability to protect Eli Manning. You wondered about their running game. You wondered about their defense. They come after starting off 0-2 and being in position to win both of those games to handle in their business last night, and it was with 5 starters inactive. Victor Cruz wasn't there. Eric Flowers wasn't there. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie wasn't there. This kid Kuhn wasn't there. You had a whole bunch of people that simply were not available. And so when you look at it from that perspective, you just have to say to yourself, all right, the Giants have to be in the mix. Beeson played last night for the first time as well. So you're going to have at least 4 or 5 starters back in the lineup eventually on the defensive side of the ball. And on the offensive side of the ball, we saw what they could do with just Ruben Randall and Odell Beckham Jr. Imagine what they're going to be able to do once Victor Cruz comes back. So that makes things incredibly, very, very interesting, rather. And so you just have to wait and see, because, again, Based on how Philadelphia was looking over the first 2 weeks, I think it's safe to say that the division belonged to the Cowboys. But then Romo went down. And so with Romo down, and you already knew Dez was out, you just don't know what the Cowboys are going to be right now. So it's very, very hard to be so definitive about the NFC East because bodies are just falling by the wayside for one reason or another. It could be injuries in the case of the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. In the case of Washington, it's dissension because of RG3 and Kirk Cousins. In the case of the Philadelphia Eagles, it's Chip Kelly's system and whether he's going to stop acting like some mad genius and come to the football world with the rest of us where he understands that adjustment needs to be made and talent has to be first and foremost above everything else. You just don't know until the season progresses. But the NFC East is giving you a reason to be undecided because of so much activity that has happened in that division, more so than any other division in football right now.
Skip.
So,
Yes.
I am still sticking with my Dallas Cowboys because I don't see a world-beating threat among those other three teams the rest of the way. I have some reason to fear all three of them, except I don't fear Kirk Cousins if, in fact, he remains that quarterback, and I don't fear Sam Bradford if, in fact, he can stay upright as that quarterback. But I will tell you this, as a Cowboy supporter, I fear the Giants more than I fear the Eagles. And I'll tell you why. Because of that guy under center. That guy is one of the weirdest quarterbacks I have ever observed for a length of time because I never know what to expect from him. I'm going to remind you, Miss Giants fan, 3 times Eli Manning has led this league in interceptions. That is mind-blowing to me.
Okay.
But the way it happens, they're always 3 years apart. So he led the NFL interceptions in 07. And the next year he said, I got to clean this thing up, which he's highly capable of doing. So he cut them in half. He went from 20 down to 10 the next year. Then here we go again. 3 years later, 2010, he throws 25 picks and it leads the league. Next year, all the way down to 16. Then here we go again. 3 years pass, and he goes crazy again. It's like bad comedian Eli all of a sudden, right? He goes out there and just makes bad jokes. And the third time, 2013, he throws 27 interceptions. It's just a disaster for the team. But the next year, 2014, he cuts it almost in half, all the way from 27 down to 14. What is going on here? So you say,
Knock
this
on wood,
guy,
none yet.
all of a sudden, this guy is playing incredibly clean, conservative, low-risk kind of football. He's got 4 touchdowns through 3 games, not spectacular, to 0 interceptions. 0 interceptions. He's completing 65% of his passes. A lot of them are little dinks and dunks, but every once in a while, he can go down the field when you least expect it.
Hit 9 of them last night at 20 or more yards.
I know, like every once in a while, but for the most part, it's just bing, 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 bing. Like I'll make this little pass. I'll throw it to the 2 tight ends occasionally, and that guy scares me to death as a Cowboy because he can do things. If he hadn't made one mental blunder on 3rd down on opening night when he threw it out of the end zone, and the coaches were somewhat complicit there also, but still, that cost them a game they should have won about 12 ways. Am I right about that?
That's right.
And we all agree they should have won. They should be 3-0. So, okay, I fear them because they're pretty good. They're pretty good on defense. I said after opening night, I told both of you, I said, hey, your Giants played pretty good defense against Romo until it was time, and then Romo just blew up and down the field. But in the end, they're going to be pretty good. If Dallas gets healthy and gets some people back on time, remember Greg Hardy's coming back, your guy Randy Gregory is coming back, Rolando McClain. If you get the reinforcements on defense and it continues to get a little better and a little better, I think they can hang in long enough to outlast these other teams.
Well, you make a great point, and what's going to happen for all these teams, because really the best quarterback right now with Romo being down is Eli Manning.
Oh, sure.
So now you're
like far and away.
You're going to have to play defense. They actually have the best offense.
They do.
When you think about the guys that are coming, Cruz gets healthy.
And ODB have played 1 game together.
I understand that. I said, but now, and they've got a nice tight end package.
They do.
They used the tight ends last night, so the offensive line is playing pretty well. He's not under duress a whole lot, and when he is, he's throwing the ball away. So really, you look at these teams. He's the best quarterback in the division.
Yep.
Who was going to play the best defense for the rest of those 3 teams? Because that's what they're going to have.
Jury's out. Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Stephen A. said it. We don't know.
Dallas.
Fair to say after this weekend we'll know a lot more in this division?
We will know a lot more about the Philadelphia Eagles this week. A lot more.
Okay. We will leave it there.
Works for me.
Big Ben and the Steelers, Herm, thank you so much. You'll be back later?
Yes.
All right. We're going to talk about the Steelers coming up here. They exploded versus the 49ers last week. Will they be able to repeat this performance this week against the Rams? That's the matchup we'll dive into next. Keep it here.